Alright, so this time we're gonna kind of split it into two. Geek358 underscore 2 will take care of the episode of Extraction, while I take care of the episode of Infiltration, which is this one. So it'll be similar to our Season 2 reviews, but with our own discussion stuff. The thing I want to talk about the most is how this episode particularly shows how Crosshair has changed, but it also brings into question a few things. Since the episode starts like a Clone Wars episode in a sense. Rex and his group are protecting the senators are getting attacked, and obviously Rex and his crew pull off and capture the assassin, which is another Clone X. These Clone X people are quite interesting because they bring a few things into the table. Clones that we might have seen in previous seasons of Clone Wars could come back just as corrupted blank clones, or a specific someone that everyone's been bitching on Twitter. But that's not the point. The point is that Rex and Hauser are interrogating this Clone X they managed to capture, which, by the way, I did not think we'd see Hauser. I was kind of curious how he came back. But he does prove the point that he has a grudge against Crosshair, especially what he did in Season 1 on how all of his troops got screwed over, the ones that sided with him. They were all dead, by what he's saying, and he was the only survivor of that whole ordeal. But anyway, he basically says, look at the target. Aside from the senator, Omega's back on the list. So we're back on this whole thing of the Empire's after Omega again, which I'm not surprised. Hemlock, why can't you choose another fucking form that isn't reveal that you're after Omega? Like, you make it... Oh my gosh. Whatever. Not the point. Bitching on him is not going to help. Anyway, they inform the others to come by so they can speak with them. Tell them, hey, this is what's going on. What I like about this is, yes, Hauser has a grudge against Crosshair. And even though Rex kind of guarantees that Crosshair is in the clear through Echo's interrogations, Hauser doesn't buy it. And even I also don't buy that Crosshair was just experimented on and they failed. It's like, wouldn't they keep trying until he either succeeds or dies? So there's something with Crosshair. Aside from that point, what I do find interesting is whenever the group does arrive to this little base that looks suspiciously like something from the Star Wars The Clone Wars movie. But hey, that's what I've noticed. And I can't help but enjoy the conversation. The fact that Hunter is vouching for Crosshair means that, yeah, their beef is somewhat done. Like, they're back to being bros who have each other's backs. Which is nice, because, you know, it would have been annoying if it's still the whole, you betrayed us, so I'm not helping you kind of ordeal. That would get very annoying very fast. But, yeah, Crosshair basically gives the information that these guys are clones that have been experimented on, so much so that they're a blank slate. They just follow orders, which is interesting because that's what Crosshair wanted to do. But there's also the fact that they'll wipe out everything from them, who they were, and it's quite literally very, very dark and interesting. So yeah, Hemlock's experiments are showing to be more unethical than anything else. But one thing that caught my attention was this Clone X, this Shadow Clone, somehow recognized Crosshair and only spoke whenever Crosshair's there. And the moment Crosshair entered that interrogation room, that's when he started like, hey, we need to get out of here now. And it's more likely that he figured something's off. And knowing Crosshair and his detecting skills in terms of being able to detect things, he might have detected the infiltrator that came in and was going to try to just kill this clone like Ast until he spotted Omega, which completely threw everything on their head because he had to backtrack, be like, hey guys, I found our target. And I love it. The one who's revealed, which I'll just say it now, Wolf, tells him, hey, wait until backup arrives. Doesn't fucking listen. Goes and causes shenanigans. Which I do like that the Clone X, like I said, didn't spoke until Crosshair came into the room. Then he's just starting to talk shit. But it is interesting that Crosshair panicked. There's a lot of theories. I could theorize that maybe he has some secret. Maybe he's not the real Crosshair. That'd be a twist. But there's something going on there. Or Crosshair detected the other one, since he was able to tell that something was off. But other than that, The whole base gets blown to shit, and Crosshair, Hunter, Wrecker, Omega, and Rex, with a few clones, have to now escape. And Hauser, of course, have to escape because now they're basically caught, and the Empire's gonna be right on them. So, episode ends with Wolf's introduction, which honestly, it makes me curious how Wolf joins with Rex now. I had a feeling he was with the Empire, and well, now it's confirmed. But overall, it was a pretty damn good episode. It's a good two-parter episode setup for what's the second half, which I will let Geek358_2 take it away.
Hey guys, so this is an interesting edit because the fact that I'm doing extraction while Green Warrior 291 just did infiltration. So we're only gonna go through two topics here only because I feel like there was only two topics to discuss on this episode. Mainly my freaking boy Wolf and the meaning of Clone X2. So let's just get into that, shall we? So, yes, my boy Wolf, even though Tech is still my number one, of course, but Wolf becomes my second. And it's so like it was so exciting to see him, but at the same time, I had to realize that it this is the start of seeing of how he is as a soldier of the Empire before he comes in with Gregor and Rex in Rebels. So this is going to be it's really hurtful to see this, but at the same time, it's really good to see him back alive though in here. And to be frank, they actually did this right, honestly, because you know what? He, like he said, he's a soldier of the Empire. This was probably going to be the case after what happened in Order 66. So this is going to be really fun to see how he's going to turn from the Empire to join Rex and Gregor. I know what I said about Wolf is short, but you know what? We need to get to the nitty gritty on this because now we have a Clone X2 now here. Listen, I may be still in mourn, still from losing Tech, but I still think this is Tech in many ways here. Reason number one, we've heard that he is a rogue assassin. So, as a rogues, they don't listen to orders. And who is a member that we knew that doesn't follow orders? That's Tech. Reason number two, if they not had made that clone assassin fall from the waterfall like that, and they showed him coming out, making it out alive, then why not give Tech that? I could still go on about why Clone X2 is Tech, but because this is for the sake of extraction, I'm only basing it off from those two point of views on why Clone X2 is Tech. But then again, we have a clone who is on AWOL, which to this day is still unbelievable. So Cody is now another option as to he could be Clone X2 now. And this is because of the fact that we've seen the vibro knife action between Crosshair, which the only other person we know besides Hunter, we've seen Cody do that in action. And what's not a theory without at least one more person, and it's the least unexpected, which in my case, it's gonna be Dogma. I know this is a character I wouldn't approve of this, but at the same time, I personally thought Slick was the first Clone X, and in that case, it wasn't. So here's my reasoning on why my third person on being Clone X is could likely be Dogma. My thing with Dogma was the fact that he was so loyal to Prong Krell, and he was obviously a bad character. And so he, even with his loyalty, I feel like Hemlock could have used this as a way after he was taken from Umbara that could be his explanation on where he went at the end of that. So basically these three clones are basically my top three list of who Clone X could be. But again, there are so many theories that are still going on, and some of them are funny to be honest. But like in this case, I just feel like these three mainly fit the top, and I hope this goes out the way it does. Mainly for Tech for me personally, though. So basically, this episode alone for me is honestly a 10 out of 10, and this is just merely of the fact of Wolf and Rex encountering, because this honestly is a top moment for Rebels fans to see how Rex encounters Wolf. And sometime during the long this season, at least the final endings of the season, we're gonna see how Wolf will probably end up with Gregor and Rex. And in my opinion, I think Infiltration was a 10 out of 10. I liked how we saw Roxas again from season one, and the fact that we saw Senator Singh with Senator Chuchi. That was a nice discussion to talk about. And it was interesting to see how the clone X's were being made on Tantus. So that's going to be a pretty heavy topic to talk about, also with Project Necromancer. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this two-parter, which of course it was a little bit difficult, but in the end it works out in the end. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.